welcome into Bleacher Talk. I think we're, oh my gosh, like halfway through the season already. This is flying by. Claudia, I remember when the season was getting started, how excited we were. And of course, we're still just as excited, if not more so now. We're seeing so many great games across the valley and across the state. So this has been a really fun season. And what better way to really dive into it than with Bleacher Talk?
Yeah, I feel like this is really when things start wrapping up. Back half of all of these schedules, we're kind of looking at Premier Region play looks really fun from this point forward. Just overall, a lot of good football still to come and a good time to bring in Bruce Cooper and update the current standings, which there's almost not much of an update because Spurs is still in the lead. Coop is still in second place, and I'm one game back behind Coop. I kind of thought maybe this was my week, as I was going through, it was like, oh, I have a chance. What happened in these games? But Spurge still has a 2-game lead over you, Coop. So we got work to do, but like we said, a lot of season still to go, and might as well get started now. Mountain View versus Mesa. That is the first game. Coop, you kick us off.
Wow, boy, you talk about one of those Mesa rivalry games there that used to be intense back in the days of Jesse Parker and Jim Rattay and Bill McCain, but it certainly tended to wane off a little bit, but not from a school perspective or a fan perspective there in Mesa. So I'm looking at this one, and look, I know Chad DeGrenier and the Jackrabbits have had 2 losses here, and they were to really good teams in Red Mountain and Hamilton. But I just like the way Joe Germain and his son Jack have that Mountain View offense kind of clicking a little bit, if you will. I mean, they've had some tough losses as well. I mean, lost to Saguaro and Basha. I mean, those are 2 big opponents that they played. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Mountain View Toros. I'm going to take the Toros on the road to beat the Jackrabbits, 41-34 in a high-scoring kind of game.
All right, Spurge, your chance. Agree, disagree, continuing your lead. What's happening?
Yeah, Coop. I mean, you hit it right on the head. I mean, at this point in the season, Mountain View has really played some tough games, and I like what Joe Germain has been building there the last few years. And right now, Mesa's on the up and up too. I like some of the players there. Junior St. Cyr is one of my favorite players to watch, but I think the Toros just have a little bit more in the tank. I think they have just a little bit of an edge, especially in the trenches. I think that's going to be kind of the difference in this game. I think the Toros are just a little bit bigger and more physical up front. So give me the Toros in this one, 38-24.
I've got to say, I thought this was going to be a little bit more of a split decision. While I agree, especially if we're looking at schedule, Mountain View has had the tougher schedule. They've played, Hamilton, or they've played Basha, Saguaro. Those are their losses. But I don't want us to forget that Mesa is a team that saw some postseason play last year, and they returned a lot of guys. I haven't seen either of these teams play, so I'm kind of going in a little bit blindly here. While I agree with all of the points that you guys made, just simply because I think it could be a close game, I'm going to take the Jackrabbits in this pick. That's, it hasn't worked for me yet, but maybe this is the week we're picking a little different, does a little something for me. So I'm going to keep it close and low scoring. I'm going to go let's go 1 point, 21-20. Why not? All right. Next matchup I want to talk about, Perry at Castile. Spurge, go ahead.
I mean, wow. Last week, Perry at Hamilton. I mean, I know there were some other shows picking and kind of saying, don't know if they belong there. And they showed they belong. They hung in with Hamilton for 3 quarters. The Huskies ultimately pulled away. But Coach Ortiz, year 2 at Perry, is really doing a nice job building that program. They're really figuring out on offense. They can put up points with the best of them defensively. They do have guys that can make plays all over the field. And Castile, I mean, they continue to be one of the top teams in 6A. This is honestly one of the tougher matchups. I really love what Coach Newcomb does over at Castile, the way he builds this program year in and year out. JJ Newcomb is one of the best players in the state that I feel like not enough people, I don't hear his name enough, but he is remarkable talent, going to be a big time Division I player, a potential Sunday player one day as well. So he's going to be a guy that could be a difference maker in this game. But something tells me the Pumas got something cooking right now. One loss to Hamilton, like I said, played tough, but I like them in this game right now against Castile. I think it's going to be high scoring. Give me Coach Ortiz and his Pumas 35-31.
I struggle with this matchup simply because Perry's coming off what looked like a very, very thrilling matchup against Hamilton. And I fully agree with everything that you said. I think Perry's really putting themselves back on the map. Saw lots of great highlights out of that game. Cody Cameron posted a couple of really nice highlights of their 2026 cornerback Devin Sarpay, and he had a couple of nice interceptions, couple of pass breakups, just a guy that I want to see a little bit more of, just on the recruiting end of things. Now I'm a little curious. Despite the momentum that I think that they have going into this matchup, I know it was a loss, but there is something to be said about a tough loss like that against a really, really good Hamilton team. I do think this game aside, both Castile and Perry have had really easy schedules so far this season. And I think this would be a really fun matchup to see later on. But I think that Castile has really built around their senior class. We talked about JJ Newcomb. I think that leadership there, a little bit more familiarity as a team, not to say anything against Coach Ortiz doing a great job over at Perry, but I just think going into this matchup, there's a lot of talent at Castile that I don't want to sweep aside. Their wide receiver, Beeman, I forget his first name now. He's been super productive this season too. I just think I'm going to have to go Castile on this one. And I'm going to go 30-21. I don't even know. I can't decide. Okay, Coop, who do you have here?
Well, look, I think you talked about it off the top that Premier Region is no joke. I mean, we're hitting it hard and heavy, and Perry Castile is a big matchup in that regard. But I will say this. I thought perhaps maybe Coach Ortiz erred in leaving Cactus for Perry based on what I saw from the Pumas last year. But oh my gosh, he's done one heck of a coaching job this year. I mean, it is stark. It is remarkable. I mean, you have to put his name in consideration for Coach of the Year based on what he's done. And look, major props to Bobby Newcomb because I mean he always has his Colts ready to go. I know he's had his couple of sons on his roster the last few years, and they have been standout players. But I'm going to go with the Perry Pumas just based on what I've seen from Coach Ortiz and the job he's done this year. I'm going to take the Pumas 42, the Colts 40.
Not going to lie, I don't hate that pick. I get it. It makes sense. The tough one I think on the table this week is Basha at Hamilton. Should be a fun one. Spurge, who's coming out on top in that matchup.
There we go. Unmuted. We're live here from a phone today, but unmuted. So this is another amazing, amazing matchup. Basha, obviously the open division reigning champs, looking to defend their title this year. Hamilton, a team preseason, everyone talked about them being one of the top teams in the state, and they've proven that with their play this year. They've had a lot of big-time wins, and Coach Zadebski has this team playing, but it's probably a repeat of this point. I've probably made this point many times in the show. I know you have Claudia Coop. I know you have, but Damon Williams is just something special. He doesn't even throw in completions this year. He has so many touchdowns. Doesn't turn the ball over hardly ever. I think there's one pick that he had last week, and that's it. So this team on offense, led by Damon Williams, it's his show. It's working. And defensively, they've got guys all over the field that are making plays, that are making other teams, really struggle to score. And this is a game that's going to come down to the wire. And I think I just trust DeMond Williams and the Basha Bears a little bit more at this point. So give me Basha 24, Hamilton 20.
All right, Coop, agree or disagree with Spurge?
Hey, I like we just talked about that Premier Region is no joke, and I mean, my goodness, what a matchup this is. I'll guarantee you this: it is going to be jam packed. You can't find an empty seat at Hamilton High School next Friday night. But I do believe when you get to big games like this, that quarterback play makes a huge difference. And I definitely have to give an edge to DeMond Williams, just as Spurge talked about. I mean, he's just a fabulous playmaker. He finds ways, even if the game is close. I can't go against Basha on the road to beat the Hamilton Huskies 31-28.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to have to echo what you're saying. It's hard to talk about Basha and not talk about who's pretty undeniably the top player in the state right now. DeMond Williams Jr. is really, really fun to watch. That's someone that even Brad Sussmat went out to a game and he was like, yeah, I kind of forgot what a baller DeMond Williams Jr. is. So he definitely makes himself known on the field. The way I see it, Basha is still Basha and Hamilton is still Hamilton. I feel like ever since I started covering Arizona high school football, it was Hamilton and Chandler that were, on the map. And then very quickly, Basha kind of went into the mix. And I feel like it's now, Basha, Hamilton, Chandler, Saguaro. Those are like kind of the four teams you inevitably think of as like kind of shoe-in open teams every year. The Huskies' only loss is really hard to forget for me. That loss to Liberty was tough. And I mean, I definitely think that they're going to continue to use it as motivation this season, because I think that a lot of people expected that first game of the season to be kind of a grind for sure, but for it to be close. And obviously it wasn't. So I think for that reason, I got to pick Basha for all the reasons you guys said. It has to be a close one, because I don't see a scenario where Hamilton isn't going into this matchup thinking, yeah, this is the reigning open division champs. We've got to give it all we've got. So I'm going to make it also as close as possible. And I'm going to go high scoring, because I think it's going to be an offensive game on both sides for both teams, but I'm going to go 35-34, make it 1 point just for add that extra level of thrill this Friday night.
If we come to play like we did yesterday,
It's a new challenge,
we're gonna beat this team.
but one Alfonso Williams embraces.
The less mistakes you make, the more you'll be successful. We can't catch the ball this way.
He's the head coach of the girls' varsity flag football team at Highland High School.
You're off or on?
But he's also the receivers coach for head coach Brock Farrell's varsity boys football team.
I thank God that Brock gave me this opportunity to be a head coach. And it wasn't like I asked for it. He just came to me and said, hey, I think you can be the head coach for the girls' varsity flag football team. If you notice, when I run the hitches and slants,
I give him the freedom he needs to be able to do it. It helps that we have multiple wide receiver coaches, because we got multiple wide receivers. So I think that really enables him to have the freedom to, do what he needs to do for the girls' team. And then it's a bonus when he gets to join us.
The girls play games twice a week. The boys play on Friday night,
scout offense.
all sandwiched around practice days.
Ooh, yes, that's a lot. The girls are 2.5 hours, the boys are 2.5 hours. So if you add that up, plus there's film going on right now. When these girls are done, I go watch film with Coach Brock. Let's go. Come on, Henry.
And his weekends are consumed with game planning for the next week.
What's up?
How'd you play yesterday?
We won 33-0.
That's what's up.
7 days a week, is filled with football.
His wife, Angie, is amazing. That's how.
He makes it look easy, actually.
Come on, Jay.
To him, it's not a job, it's a hobby. He loves it, and he doesn't even think about the hours.
All right, let's go.
We all appreciate it. It's super hard. I don't know how, I don't think I would be able to do it. So the fact that he does it is amazing. We're all super grateful to have a coach like him. It's such a blast.
Outside sluggos, inside arrows, on 1-1.
Something that's a little bit demanding and intense, and staying focused.
Ike.
Alfonso played professionally in the USFL with the Oklahoma and Arizona Outlaws, in the CFL with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and in the NFL with the Chargers, Lions, and Buccaneers.
Thank God, playing in the National Football League has given me that drive to excel. And as a receiver and a player, you have to give it all the time. So if they have a meeting at 8 o'clock for the Chargers, well, I'm there at 7. I'm there early, and that mentality will always stay with me to give my best and all. But it's a little different, though. Yeah, I'm happy to be out here. Good job. Way to catch it and tuck it in, Reese.
But one thing Alfonso did not anticipate is all the administrative work associated with being a head coach.
Hey, give me another receiver out there.
Making sure the girls are in class and doing their assignments and keeping their grades up.
What did she do wrong?
It's pretty much football 24/7.
He'll get up at 2, 3 in the morning and be doing plays.
Everything about flag football is outside.
So it's not just on the field, he's off the field working really hard, but it's fun. I mean, I love Friday Night Lights, and the girls' games are awesome.
And if you're wondering if Alfonso is having regrets regarding his dual coaching football world,
No, not yet.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the first social spotlight of October. I'm Marley Zanna Thompson, and let's get things going. Starting off on a hot note, quarterback from Arcadia High School, Braylon Rooney, not only lines up as a receiver and maybe mosses the guy a little bit, he does the whole Odell Beckham Jr. move and everything. So you gotta watch this in slow-mo. I know I rewound it a few times to watch it because I was very impressed that this quarterback was lining up as a receiver and mossed the guy as well. And then transferring over from high school to college, we have a Trayson Bourget from South Point Catholic who earned the MAC West Offensive Player of the Week. But while we're on the topic of the Bourgets, let's add in Trenton Bourget as well and just take a look at their stats. And it's just impressive what these guys are doing and the strong players that Arizona produces. Now, we can't talk about outstanding Arizona alum without also highlighting Saguaro High School's Devin Dampier. He earned his first touchdown while playing against Wyoming. And, one touchdown wasn't enough for him. He also got 2 touchdowns. Again, his stats were amazing, and it is so cool to see how well these Arizona-bred guys are doing.
I thought he did an unbelievable job. Devin has an unbelievable future.
Now let's pivot back to the high school level, and we can't not talk about Caden Gibson from AZ College Prep on earning his 40th career sack. This guy is only a junior. The numbers are only going to keep racking up, and this is a guy that offenses need to keep their eye out for. And to close it all out, we want to send our thoughts and prayers to Diesel Mack from ALA Queen Creek, who had kind of a scare over the weekend, but can confirm that he is doing great, and all tests have come back negative. But all of us from the Sports 360 family are hoping and praying for a speedy recovery and safe recovery so this young man can get back to doing what he loves. Well, That's it from me this week. I'm Marley Zana Thompson, and make sure to tag Sports 360 AZ and anything fun if you want to be highlighted in the next social spotlight. But until then, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time.
Another week of Bleacher Talk is in the books, but we'll never keep you waiting for long. We'll be back here on Wednesday with more Bleacher Talk. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.